News9, I'm Nabila Jamal, right here on Unmissable. I take you through news from India and across the globe. Let's start with Trump. We're going to delve into Trump's 20-point plan to bring peace in the region between Israel and Gaza. He seems to have managed to convince the Middle Eastern nations as well on his peace plan and given Hamas 4 days' time to revert. We're going to take you through all the points in the peace plan that Trump has drafted. And of course, as we delve into layoffs, we're going to look at Accenture in one of the latest companies laying off several employees. They've made it quite clear that either you upskill, adapt to AI, if not, you face the axe. And on our top story on Day to Night, we take you through the DMK firing at the TVK on the Karur Stampede issue for the first time. Also, you have Vijay, who came out to speak on the matter. It seems like Tamil Nadu at this point mourning the death of 41 lives. A full roundup on that story and more. As always, the headlines first. Election Commission publishes September 30th, 2025 rolls. 48 lakh names dropped after special intensive revision in the SIR. Eligible voters can apply for inclusion in the electoral roll up to 10 days before nomination filing. Kargil Democratic Alliance, which along with Apex body Lay demands release of Sonam Wangchuk and a judicial probe into September 24th security firing. KDA announces that it will not join statehood negotiations until demands are met. Central Drug Standard Control Organizations, the CDSCO in India, clears Novo Nordisk's Ozempic in India, that is used to treat type 2 diabetes, expected to enter India very soon now. And it's set to boost the 752 crore anti-obesity market as well, because you know this drug is also being used for weight loss extensively. TVK chief Vijay expresses grief over Karur rally, first appearance after the stampede that killed 41, urges Chief Minister Stalin to direct any revenge at him, not his party or the people of Tamil Nadu, emphasizes public safety was priority. Tamil Nadu officials reject claims of power outage or police baton charge at Vijay's TVK rally. Confirmed 41 people dead, 200 injured. Officials say rapid ambulance deployment and hospital response followed standard protocol. So all the allegations of conspiracy is false, is what the DMK government says on its part. RCB for sale. Former IPL chief Lalit Modi takes to the platform X, claims Diageo is all set to sell RCB, predicts global funds, sovereign investors will bid, calling it the best investment opportunity in the league. Kerala tops in suicides among unemployed people. NCRB 2023 data shows 66% of suicide victims earned under 1 lakh. Over 10,700 plus farmers lost lives. Maharashtra, Karnataka worst hit states. At least 10 people have been killed and 30 injured as a blast hits a police headquarters, right outside a police headquarters in Pakistan's Quetta. Gunfire reported, area cordoned off, hospitals on high alert. Of course, it looks like suicide bombing, yet no one has claimed the attack. US President Donald Trump gives at least 3 to 4 days to Hamas to accept his 20-point Gaza peace plan, claiming all other Arab Muslim countries and Israel have signed on it, warns Hamas, either you comply with the 20-point peace plan or we will let Israel do what they have to do. Israel has already promised that they will finish the job if Hamas does not agree. All right, let's cut across to our top story here. The United States President Donald Trump has come up with a peace plan for Gaza. US President Donald Trump has unveiled one of the most ambitious peace proposals yet for Gaza as the devastating war nears its second anniversary, 2 years on. Gaza is still under attack and Israeli hostages still held by Hamas. The comprehensive plan to end the Gaza conflict is a 20-point roadmap drafted over 8 months, we hear, by the Trump regime and announced after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Donald Trump in Washington a few days ago. In fact, the plan's central demand here is that Hamas must disarm and surrender. Fighters who lay down their arms will be given amnesty. Hamas, if they want to stay in Gaza, they can stay with their arms down. If they want to leave Gaza, they can leave, and Israel will ensure a safe passage. And they can leave to countries like Jordan, Egypt, Qatar, or Iran. But given Hamas has ruled Gaza for nearly 2 decades, this seems to be the toughest challenge. Will Hamas accept this to give up complete power? Now, also to secure Gaza, the plan proposes an international stabilization force backed by the US, Arab and global partners. This force will train vetted Palestinian police, cut off weapons supplies and ensure aid flows seamlessly into Gaza. Israel has pledged it will not occupy or annex Gaza and will ensure that they will aid and push all the aid that has to go to Gaza seamlessly. Now, Israel has pledged that they will not occupy or annex Gaza and will pull its troops out of Gaza step by step as the region is demilitarized. In fact, on governance particularly, Trump calls this the day after plan. In fact, speaking about who is going to be governing Gaza post that. Trump, in his day after plan, as he calls it, a technocratic Palestinian committee will be formed, made up of local professionals and international experts. They will be running all public services in Gaza. And then an oversight board will be formulated, which is called the Board of Peace. This is basically to revive and uplift Gaza. And that will be headed by Trump himself. As per the 20-point peace plan, Trump himself will be overseeing this body that will uplift and rejuvenate Gaza entirely. And along with Trump, there are few leaders like UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, who are going to be part of this board, almost governing Gaza or overseeing its upliftment. Among others, few other names are yet to be mentioned, but Tony Blair's name we know now. The plan also guarantees humanitarian relief, water, electricity, sewage systems, hospitals, bakeries, roads, basically a full town, a full city or a full, like Gaza was earlier, maybe a lot better. It will be improved, there will be facilities, and they want to revive Gaza entirely. That's as part of the peace plan that Trump has proposed. And all the aid to begin with will be distributed through the UN and the Red Crescent. Another major provision is the hostage exchange. In fact, this is really the clincher. Within 72 hours of this peace 20-point agenda accepted by both sides, Israel and Hamas, there will be release of hostages and exchange of all those prisoners. Hamas must release all 48 remaining hostages that they have held. In return, Israel will free 250 lifetime prisoners and 1,700 Palestinians who were detained after October 7th massacre, including women and children. So on both sides, there will be release of people, hostages on one side and prisoners that Israel held for many years and particularly after October 7th. Crucially, Trump has given Hamas just 3 to 4 days time now to respond to this, warning if at all they do not accept it, then Hamas will see a very sad end. Palestinian Authority, in the meanwhile, has welcomed the plan, while Hamas says it's still reviewing it. 8 Arab and Muslim nations, that includes Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Turkey, Egypt, have all welcomed Trump's move, along with China and Russia. If this really succeeds, then this deal could really reshape Gaza's future and also boost Trump's own legacy. Possible peace prize in the offing for Trump, much like what the Oslo Accords once did. All right, let me bring in Dr. Zakir Hussain, Middle East expert. We also have Lev Aran, Israeli columnist and journalist, live from Haifa, and Eli Peeps, Director, International Relations, Israel Defense and Security Forum. Thank you very much, three of you, for joining us here. Let me bring in fact, Ellie, to give us a little sense on what you think is the 20-point peace plan that Trump has proposed to bring peace within that region. Israel has welcomed it, but still not very happy with the Palestinian state. That's not part of the 20-point agenda, but nonetheless, how do you welcome it?
Yeah, I think it is. Thank you very much for having me. I would say I think this is an excellent plan. I would say that it is essentially a Hamas surrender without using those words. Israel is able to achieve all of its war goals: the destruction of Hamas, the release of all hostages, dead or alive, within 72 hours, all at one time, not one by one. A demilitarized Gaza, Israeli security control over the Gaza Strip, and the creation of a new civil administration that excludes Hamas and, importantly, also excludes the Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian Authority is involved, but only when they do significant reforms, which throughout their entire existence, they have not only resisted doing, but they are built on never doing and never accomplishing. So this is kind of like a red herring. The Palestinian Authority is not going to have any kind of real control in any future control over Gaza. They're just included to give their support, which is something that is important both for President Trump, it's important for Qatar, and from a Palestinian Authority perspective, it allows them to put the nail in the Hamas coffin, which has been their primary rival of control of the Palestinian people.
You know, let's also bring in Lev Aran. Lev, do you believe, or is it realistic for us to believe that Hamas will actually lay down their arms? Will they really fully disarm and surrender? Is this a realistic plan in your view?
Hamas holds a sticky wicket because if they leave Gaza, they surrender. They promise not to surrender. On the other hand, they don't really know because both Turkey and Qatar are part of the plan. So, in a way, if until now they could play between Qatar and US, between Qatar and Egypt, and so on, now they are quite alone. So, in this sense, maybe they have more incentive to say yes than ever before.
If I could bring in Zakir Naik on that. Zakir, we're looking at most of the Middle Eastern countries who've accepted this plan. There are some talks around how Trump has business interests in many of the Middle Eastern countries. Trump's son-in-law is right now doing business with Qatar, with Saudi and whatnot. So in that sense, it almost appears as if all the countries, the Middle Eastern countries at this point, are swinging with Trump. They're basically going with Trump on this. Though the 20-point peace plan, most of the pointers in that plan certainly seems like Gaza will see finally the light of day, that the war will end and Gaza will be revived. But is there any skepticism that you have?
Basically, whenever Prime Minister Netanyahu comes back from White House, he brings more death and destruction. And I think I see this document as a surrender document, as a force putting gun on their head to surrender. And this is nothing but an extension of the deal of the century. And I feel that if even Hamas accept this, it accepts because of the people of Gaza who have suffered too much, while the same Arab countries which are supporting, they have not taken any step to stop this for the last 700 days or more than that. And now they are complicit totally with America and Netanyahu to end this problem, while the people of Palestine has got nothing because they are not represented anywhere. Their will and their things are not considered, not in the international stabilization force, not in the transition government, not in converting the city into miracle cities, which is nothing but again revision of building Rivera, in other words. And President Trump said that he wants to bring peace of 2,000 years old conflict. It means that they are working on a messianic agenda, and I don't think that this is a very good plan. And I again repeat, if Hamas accepts this, accept because of the suffering of its own people. Otherwise, all the Gulf countries shamelessly complicit with this plan.
But don't you think peace in the region is what is really needed at this point? And if Trump, even if okay, we know that there's lack of trust when it comes to America, Trump particularly. But if Trump has laid it down in writing that this is how it's going to be and this is how it should be followed, why won't you believe that it will go as per plan?
Look, Trump has set such a politics in the world that if somebody trusts Trump, it means he is deceiving himself. No. He has nowhere, he only understands the language of force and power, which only Putin has showed him and China has showed him. He appointed Qatar to negotiate open office, and he failed to protect, and even he gave carte blanche to Netanyahu to attack Qatar. And shamelessly Qatar is beseeching with Trump and Netanyahu. So if anybody in the world is going to believe in the words of Trump, it is the mistake of that person or that country or that group. Because we all know very well about Trump.
Don't you think there is no other option but to believe? Now, if you're speaking of belief,
no,
then there's no other option but to believe and have faith.
No.
And
You
go
are
forward.
He is trying to threat us, threat the people of Gaza. And so far, what I again repeat, if Hamas accepts, it means he accepts because of their suffering of the people, and he is not going to end the problem. Hamas and other groups will re-emerge, and also Netanyahu and Israel's hardline supporters have no intention to end the problem, because still Smotrich and others are talking about occupation of Gaza and selling the land to the people and building Rivera and all these things. So this issue is being a total surrender.
Lev smiles at that. Why do you think it's humorous, Lev? The question is, will Israel really, as per a commitment, withdraw from Gaza completely when they see the region stabilize? Because past history and record does not suggest that Israel has lived up to its word.
Look, I'm smiling because for the right-wing parties within the Netanyahu coalition, it was like you had the feeling that they're in a funeral today. They were not celebrating. They felt that we lost the war and we did not get the total victory that we promised to the Israelis and so on. And maybe they should listen to Dr. Hussein and see how the situation looks from the other side. I think people should know that Israel and India, we have the army service is compulsory, is mandatory. Everybody has to go to the army. And for Israel is the appetite to go and fight in Gaza, if we have any other choice, is almost zero. So the idea that we will go and enter Gaza for any occupation, if we don't feel that we are threatened by Hamas, I think it is almost illogical. Because for Israel, for most Israelis, Gaza is a swamp. Gaza is a place that we have to fight the Hamas terrorists because we have no other choice. If this Trump plan gives us a different choice of, let's say, of technocratic government, of course, most Israelis will have no appetite to send their children, to their daughters and sons to Gaza. I have no doubt about it.
Trump being the head of the Board of Peace. Now, that's another area that people are skeptical of, saying this. Remember, Trump had released an AI video where it shows his statue in Gaza. It showed the whole strip as if he wanted to turn it into Las Vegas, something on those lines. So, for long-term peace, Trump heading that Board of Peace seems a little bit of a misfit. Eli, would you want to speak on that?
Yeah, but before I do want to also take issue with Dr. Hussein's comment about the only reason why Hamas would accept the deal is because of their empathy for the people of Gaza, that they have led to this disaster and catastrophe. The reality is quite the opposite. They could have done that any time over the last 2 years. The only reason why Hamas would accept this offer is because of Qatar, and not really because Qatar, who had been their big brother, who had been financing them, Qatar has now abandoned them. And they understand right now that they have absolutely no support, and there is nothing to prevent Israel from attacking them and from wiping them out. So either they will be wiped out by Israel's attack on the ground, or they could sort of control their funeral. They could leave, they could get amnesty, but Qatar has decided that they value their relationship with the United States of America and President Trump, the head of the new Board of Peace, much more than they value their relationship with Hamas. And I think President Trump has been undervalued and not understood how much he was able to bring peace. Abraham Accords, nobody thought that was possible, but he achieved it. And it's withstood 5 years, including 2 years of war, despite the fact that a number of European countries downgraded their relation with Israel. The UAE and Bahrain have not. They understand that peace, while people laughed at it because it was brokered by Trump and by Jared Kushner, who had business relationships in that region, the reality is, despite the wars that's been going on, the Gulf countries value their relationship with Israel almost as much as Israel values a relationship with them. And you can see even just a couple of days ago when Prime Minister Netanyahu spoke at the UN, one of the heads of state that spoke alongside and was very complimentary of Israel was Indonesia. That's not something that you would be expecting at the same time when there seemed to be a significant amount of Israeli or attacks on Israel, and Israel is losing legitimacy. The reality is that Israel is seen by those who want to see it, understand that Israel has the ability to bring peace. Israel left Gaza 20 years ago, so the suggestion that Israel needs to be in Gaza, can't restrain itself from going into Gaza, is kind of absurd. We tried everything when it comes to Gaza. We left 20 years ago, and this is what we got. So it makes sense that Israel is going to go in. And once there is security, there isn't a lot of interest in Israel staying in Gaza. The Prime Minister doesn't want it. Yes, there are some people on
there's
the
also
more extreme,
there's also been
Gaza,
support for a separate Palestinian state. Eli, there's been support for a separate Palestinian state. Most countries have supported a separate Palestinian state. Where do you think that will come up? And is Israel open to that?
There's no openness to a Palestinian state. And I think we've seen Gaza had the ability to show us what a Palestinian state could have been. Israel left. They had a border with Egypt. They could have built a Singapore. Israel was doing everything it could to make it successful. Israel did not want to be in the situation. But instead of taking that opportunity and building a state that was friendly towards Israel, that was friendly towards the world, they built an underground terror network, which is absurd. And everybody knew what was happening, maybe not exactly to the extent. So the idea that there would be another Palestinian state after we've tried those 20 years, we tried from 48 to 67. After Israel was founded, we lived in a kind of a de facto two-state solution, didn't bring us peace. We need to move to a situation where we're focusing on how do we achieve peace, not how do we achieve a state. And if we can achieve peace, we'll see what happens when it comes to a state. But the first thing, the priority must be achieving peace, both when it comes to Gaza and when it comes to the rest of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and frankly, the rest of the Israeli-Arab conflict.
Okay, a final word, Lev. Do you believe that Hamas will really disarm? And if not, Benjamin Netanyahu says he's going to finish the job. What does finish the job mean?
Unfortunately, I did not hear very well the question. Please repeat.
Netanyahu says if Hamas does not agree, we will finish the job. What does finish the job mean?
Look, finishing the job means that we will be in Gaza until Hamas surrenders. Now, of course, it brings some kind of domestic feud in Israel, but let's hope that now that all the world is united and everybody accepts the Trump plan, including most of the Muslim countries, let's hope that Hamas says yes and not going back to the bad mistakes that Hamas made for the last 18 years.
All right. Well, Zakir, would you say that if Hamas now gives in, hopefully we seem to have lost Zakir's connection there. But thank you, Lev and Ellie, for joining us on this. Well, it's a 20-point peace plan that Trump's administration has drawn up to ensure that Gaza is safe and Israel backs out and hostage exchange happens and Gaza is revived. Now, most of the Muslim Middle Eastern nations have supported this. It now remains to be seen if Hamas will agree to this plan. They have 4 days' time to revert. We will continue following up on this very closely. We will slip into a short break. Be right back on Accenture layoffs, mass layoffs. Stay with us.
Love is nothing without the thrill. Unlimited love. The B6 Pack 2 starts at 21.9 lakh.
व्यू मस्त है और चाय भी बुरी नहीं है।
नए घर में चाय के मजे कहाँ लोगे? ये खूबसूरत चिंता आप करिए। होम लोन की चिंता हम संभाल लेंगे with attractive interest rates and instant sanction.
Welcome back. Let me take you through the IT sector and the ripples owing to layoffs. Accenture has laid off 11,000 employees in just 3 months. The company says that this is part of a massive restructuring to prepare for an AI-driven future. Accenture CEO Julie Sweet calls upskilling the #1 strategy for them now. Staff who can adapt to AI systems will be retained, but those who can't are being let go. At the same time, Accenture also says that it will also hire fresh talent with AI skills to fill that gap. Layoffs come at a cost of $865 million in severance package, which they are now giving to the employees that they've asked to leave. Accenture's global workforce has now dropped from 7,91,000 to 7,79,000. But this isn't just about cuts. The company has already generated $2.6 billion in AI consulting work in the last 6 months. It's also planning rapid talent rotation and even divesting some acquisitions with savings reinvested in people and new businesses. So basically means that they're basically trying to buckle up and tighten harness on all corners, so that they're able to move that money, make their talent more productive, and ensure more talent is brought in who can kind of boost Accenture's turnout. Now, India will feel the impact sharply. Nearly 3 lakh of Accenture's staff is based in India, and it follows a similar move by TCS, which reportedly let go of up to 80,000 workers due to AI. Now, remember, TCS says that only 12,000 employees were let off, not 80,000. 80,000 is a number, basically a rumor that spread faster. Even before the TCS could clarify on this, the 80,000 workers were laid off rumor went so viral that TCS now is trying to damage control. Experts warn that this is a larger trend, though, across the $250 billion IT sector. Routine coding, testing, process jobs are all now being automated. AI is switching that human job. The only way forward now, they say, is reskilling. Either employees reskill or upskill, or they'll have to leave. especially with regards to AI, data and cloud. Employees have to be completely in the know of every detail of AI, data and cloud. For employees, the message is quite clear. The future isn't just about keeping jobs, but learning to work alongside machines now. Let me bring in Gautam Kapoor, who's the CEO, Cybercare 365, joining us. He has employees of his own to give us a little sense of what this really means. Saurabh Rai, Chief Strategy and Growth Officer, NeoGeo Info Technologies Limited. Thanks very much. I'll start with Gautam Kapoor. Gautam, your view on IT sector layoffs, Accenture, TCS, it's a little alarming and a shocker for many in India. I mean, world over, but we are concerned for India. 3 lakh Accenture employees who are located in India, they're all now worried for their future. Would you be able to tell us how easy is it to upskill? Is it so easy to really rewire yourself and manage to hold on to that job? What's to be done with immediate effect? Your suggestion or advice to people watching?
Yeah, good evening and thank you for having me over. Listen, I know with the advent of AI, this is a mixed bag, so to say. I mean, you alluded to the fact that we're going to see a lot of layoffs. As a matter of fact, we are in the midst of a lot of organizations announcing layoffs. Now, like I said earlier, this is a mixed bag and folks do need to upskill themselves. I think this is the perfect opportunity for folks to go ahead and learn more about AI technologies. Now, easier said than done. The world is rapidly changing and folks are a little bit confused. What is it that we need to do? Now, not everybody can go ahead and just start, learning software coding skills and things like that. But still, I think with AI and the ecosystem rapidly changing, I think it behooves a lot of people to start working on understanding what the technology is all about, how mundane tasks can be replaced with AI, and then being able to oversee these things. So that is my perspective on this. We'll see in the coming years that there'll be a whole set of jobs or a whole set of jobs ecosystem being created, even with the advent of AI.
Well, with the advent of AI, and that's what IT companies have been very clear that they're also hiring more people with skills.
Yes.
So if they're letting off people, they're also hiring people. But where it hurts the most, the mid-level, senior level managers who are well in their 40s or just about 50, who possibly are not at that age to adapt to that kind of AI so fast or so quickly as the younger lot. And that's where the real crisis lies. Saurabh Rai, do you agree?
Well, I agree. And actually, it's going to be the norm going forward, in my view. The first surprising thing, and I'm ex-Accenture, by the way, in the spirit of full disclosure, and Accenture has some of the best training programs in the world that I have myself been privy to. And if Accenture cannot train 11,000 people and had to let go for want of training or for their ability or inability to reskill, that's a very, very alarming situation. That's number one. So that being said, it's going to be very challenging. If youngers can't adapt, certainly it will be tougher for slightly older ones like me. The good part, though, is in parallel, we've heard the announcements of hiring more AI professionals, hiring more professionals. So somewhere it's going to balance it out, and hopefully we are seeing just an aberration and not the norm. And I would hope so for the larger benefit of the industry.
Disclosed where you work. I just want to ask you, how did you upskill? Did you go through a training program or were you steadfast on your own that, before the axe falls on you, I'm going to ensure I learn the trick? And did you take personal course on your own? How did you ensure that you fit in?
So when you're talking of AI, most of it has been self-learning, at least for me. I looked at my sector, I looked at the trends, and it did not come in a day. It took some time coming. So right from prompts to understanding what Gen AI is, to understanding what LLM is, to the extent what it can do. Now, even very recently, just 2 days back, I was looking at low-code, no-code kind of softwares in the LLM space. Once they come, they will be a still tougher nut to crack. Now, because with the advent of low-code, no-code, LLM writing softwares, things will further become easy, and even AI specialists will become redundant in some sort and form. So now it's always, as it's been in tech industry, you have to be ahead of the curve. You have to keep learning new things. Now AI is one, the coding part is one, but the application part certainly gives a lot of opportunity to all of us. And we are seeing new and new applications coming in every other day. So it's not everything is lost. Maybe this is a wake-up call for most AI professionals, including me, that in the areas and in the adjacencies that you're working on, look at the possibilities of AI, start looking at how it is going to change the world for you, start looking at how you're going to train it. Certainly the tools and techniques are very new. At the same time, just like every other major evolution of the tech industry, we saw internet, we subsequently saw analytics. Now we are seeing an AI and Gen AI. We need to keep ourselves ahead of the curve. And I also see a lot of trainings coming up.
Correct.
So most of the training programs, training curriculum providers have created. Organizations have created those training programs. So all that one needs to do is keep an eyes and ears open. And what organizations need to do is perhaps, in order to retain their talent, groom them better, give them an early idea about the skills that they need to learn, so that they get a lot longer runway rather than some.
My only question is, even Jitin Jain joins us, Director of Voyager Infosec Private Limited. Jitin, why is how is it not possible for these companies not to know that their employees or people who they are hiring in their first rounds itself are not compatible with the company or the AI mechanism? It's been a while now since AI has come about. And as much as companies like Accenture want to upskill, it's been a while since they have adapted to AI technology, but are also hiring at the same time, and those hires are not going the way they want it to be. Why is it they're not able to identify those who are not compatible?
Nabila, there are three things. I think these 11,000 people who have been now laid off in the garb of some Oxford English called exiting. This is the word they have used. They have not used the word termination or layoff. These are not the AI professionals. These are people from different walks of technology life. And they are being fired because AI would be doing their job. And they are going to hire more and more AI people, and that means more and more firing is going to take place in the coming years. But the first point what you made, that was Accenture not aware when they hired these employees. I think no, that on that point you'll have to give them benefit of doubt, because I think these were compatible people. They were matching the requirements when they were hired 3, 4, or 5 years ago. But the technology has changed at such a rapid scale with the coming of AI, especially no-code technologies. Most of the customer care jobs, most of basic coding jobs, most of entry-level jobs, or any tech spectrum, right from coding to business analytics to testing, is now gone, because they are now you don't even need to automate them. They are being readily done by AI and using different tools. So I think on that space we are going to see a huge a shift in this entire landscape of technology, where the entry-level jobs will become extremely difficult. But then it raises the fundamental question: what about the corporate responsibility? Are you only for profit and greed? Have you got you've got full corporate responsibility towards your profit and board, but have you got no social responsibility and ethics towards your employees and any morality towards them? Because you're affecting families without any notice. Second, the bigger question in this entire transition, as Mr. Rai was pointing out, ultimately, see, whose responsibility is to reskill? Society, employees themselves, the government as a whole, or the companies? I don't think you can only leave it to companies that, and imagine Accenture is one of the biggest consulting companies in the world, and this same very company offers reskilling and future-proof programs to many different corporates in the world. And if they themselves are not able to retain their own employees and upskill them, it is a huge question, not only on the Accenture, but overall industry, that how rapidly technology is changing.
Precisely.
And if Accenture has to fire, then I think other companies which are doing routine outsourcing tasks like TCS, Infosys will be following the suit today or tomorrow or maybe in some weeks. But ultimate question is, whose responsibility is to reskill?
It is a company's responsibility, which is why I'm a little surprised that they are not able to identify people who are not compatible.
Not really, Amila. We are creating digital coolies in our colleges. These companies hire graduates and postgraduates from the colleges, and they have to reskill them on the very first day of the job for 3 months.
Correct. That's precisely
This is a
what I'm
fundamental
saying.
question
Either
of
you
how to
recognize that
be
they're not compatible and train them, or you don't hire them. If they're into the system already 5 years into it, then they should ideally be young, and maybe a crash course to upskill them is not very difficult. A final question as I wrap here, Gautam Kapoor, I'll take it from you, is you're live from California, you have a company of your own. How does the United States cope with it? Because 11,000 jobs is all over, not just in India, all over. How do Americans or people in America really upskill so quickly?
I'll say this in full candor. I mean, the United States is facing the same challenges that we're facing in India, right? I mean, I think both our guests are alluding to the fact that folks need to upskill, companies need to train. And we're facing the very same challenges. Folks will have to adapt to this new world. Low-code jobs, like one of the guests was alluding to, those are going away. Customer service jobs, those are going away. However, I do want to mention one thing, as a supplement to what some of the folks were saying. I mean, there was this world of RPA that came before AI, and that promised to change the entire ecosystem. That did not happen. It created a whole new set of ecosystem. Now AI has come. I don't want to paint this as a doom and gloom, where we're expecting 10, 20, 15, 30% unemployment. But no, it will create a set of new jobs, new opportunities, and it is incumbent upon the companies as well as on the individuals to upskill. So, to answer your question, we're seeing the same challenges, the same concerns that India is seeing. We're seeing the same thing in the US too. And I know you've got a little time, so I'll pass the floor back to you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Maybe AI will teach Donald Trump a lesson, because when you hire these low-code employees, it will need highly skilled employees. And for that, he already wants American companies to fire all highly skilled jobs, which they have got, and guys which have gone across the world.
There's impending inflation anyway, owing to tariff threat in the United States. So Donald Trump will probably learn more of a lesson than one. Thank you very much, Jitin, Gautam, and Saurabh for joining us on that.
Thank you.
A quick break. We'll be right back with all our top stories and day to night. Stay with us.
Alakazam fish disappear. Moonlight.
Smooth, silent, seamless. Sliding systems from headache.
TV9 फेस्टिवल ऑफ इंडिया 2025 दिल्ली में मचेगी धूम। इस नवरात्रि दिल्ली के दिल इंडिया गेट पर स्थित मेजर ध्यानचंद राष्ट्रीय स्टेडियम में आइए और डूब जाइए उत्सव के रंगों में। 28 सितंबर से 2 अक्टूबर तक TV9 फेस्टिवल ऑफ इंडिया 2025 ला रहा है म्यूजिक एंड डांस, टेस्टी फूड और शॉपिंग का अनोखा संगम। डांडिया नाइट्स में थिरकिए, बड़े बड़े कलाकारों की शानदार परफॉर्मेंस का लुत्फ उठाइए और नवरात्रि, दुर्गा पूजा और दशहरा के रंगों में खो जाइए। लाजवाब व्यंजनों का स्वाद लें और लाइफस्टाइल एक्सपो में फ्री एंट्री के साथ शॉपिंग का मजा लें। सुबह 10 बजे से शुरू होने वाले इस फेस्ट में अपने दोस्तों, परिवार और पार्टनर के साथ आइए यादगार पल के लिए। टिकट बुक करें बुक माई शो पर और तैयार हो जाइए एक अनोखे उत्सव के लिए। TV9 फेस्टिवल ऑफ इंडिया 2025, जहां हर पल है जश्न, हर पल है उत्सव।
Presented by Hero MotoCorp. Special partner Lyra Women's Wear. Leggings वो जो लायरा हो।
Philips, सोने पे सुहागा।
पोलो एलिवेटर्स, स्मार्ट भारत की स्मार्ट लिफ्ट।
Football is our culture. Match days turn into festivals. Every goal ignites the crowd. Strangers become family. Football is our culture. The goals are our tradition.
Welcome back. All right, now we're looking at the weight loss drug Ozempic finally making its way to India. India is set to get Ozempic, a once-a-week injection for type 2 diabetes. The patent ends next March, which means generic versions could be made available and likely will be more affordable in India. Ozempic is part of the GLP-1 drug family. It helps the body release insulin, lowers blood sugar, and in higher doses can also help people lose weight. That's the catch. You're looking at many celebrities the world over who've got onto Ozempic and similar drugs, and they seem to have lost weight. But the side effects are also quite glaring. Many of them have come out with the side effects as well. But doctors say if it's monitored well by a doctor, then it could have positive benefits. The drug gained fame after celebrities like Elon Musk, Amy Schumer, and many more used it. Doctors, of course, also warning the side effects and that it could be serious. Users may face nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, or even constipation. Bloating is one of the most common that could feel very uneasy. In some cases, it can trigger pancreatitis, gallbladder stones, kidney problems, and even thyroid tumors. Now, that's why strict medical supervision is a must. In India, Wegovy, the weight loss version, could cost 17,000 to 26,000 a month. Other drugs like Mounjaro are about 14,000 to 17,500 in a month. Local manufacturing has been cleared, so it could likely reduce the cost. This is what is expected, but yet uncertain. For all you know, it might be even more expensive. For people with diabetes or high heart risk, Ozempic can improve sugar, control weight, and lower chance of heart problems as well, as per what it's observed to be. Ozempic offers hope, but it also comes with all those risks I mentioned. Balancing its benefits is certainly something that you have to closely look into. It can change lives for the good or the worse. Shifting focus to Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu political tensions now continue to mount after the tragic stampede at actor TVK leader Vijay's campaign that killed 41 lives. The DMK government has now come out to slam TVK and Vijay, his political party, saying that it was all their fault, and firstly underlying and basically very clearly underlining that there was no power outage during the rally. Remember, TVK had accused the DMK of conspiring with this. In fact, they say that this was nothing but a conspiracy to defame Vijay, and they said power was deliberately cut to the rally. The DMK government has now come out to slam TVK and his political party, saying there was no power outage during the rally. In fact, it was all because of mismanagement by the event organizers. DMK says that the venue was inadequate. It was located near a petrol bunk. Drainage lines, overcrowding, all worsened the situation. Police also say that the venue, TVK had asked for permission for only 10,000 attendees. But one knows that there were nearly 25,000 people who showed up. And they also highlighted, the DMK said, adequate police deployment was given with one officer for every 20 people, as per their permission that was sought. The government released visuals then showing TVK cadres climbing rooftops, acting like hooligans, which officials say really exacerbated the chaos. They stressed that there was no lathi charge or baton charge, and police were actively assisting the injured and fainted victims. So they did everything they could to control the situation, blaming it entirely on Vijay and his party's mismanagement. Now, nearly 3 days after the tragedy, TVK chief Vijay finally came out with a first statement in a video message. He expressed condolences and also requested Chief Minister Stalin, saying, if you want revenge, do it on me. Please don't touch my party people. Reaffirming his political campaigns will continue. Here's what he had said.
CM sir, உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது இந்த பழி வாங்கணும் அப்படின்ற எண்ணம் ஏதாவது இருந்துச்சுன்னா என்ன வேணாலும் பண்ணுங்க. அவங்க மேலே கை வைக்காதீங்க. நான் ஒன்று வீட்டில் இருப்பேன், இல்லை நான் ஆஃபீஸில் இருப்பேன். என்ன வேணாலும் செய்யுங்க. நண்பர்களே, தோழர்களே, நம்மளுடைய அரசியல் பயணம் இன்னும் ஸ்ட்ராங்காக, இன்னும் தைரியத்தோட.
DMK MP Kanimoy slamming TVK for not being able to handle the situation in Karur. She asked why Vijay fled the scene after the stampede, that Vijay should have stayed back and that his party leaders were eventually left to fix the situation. Why did Vijay leave?
I think this is not a time for blaming people, or that's what the Chief Minister has also said in his video and his message to the people. It's not a time to blame each other, it's a time to be with the people. And unfortunately, fleeing the scene and not being there and forget the leaders.
Vijay fleeing the scene?
Any responsible leader should not leave. And even if you've left, you should make sure at least your party functionaries.
Well, we saw the BJP sent its delegation, NDA sent a delegation under Hema Malini MP, who visited the site in Karur there. And she said this is the worst ever tragedy Tamil Nadu has seen, and the BJP now demands a Supreme Court monitored probe.
Our members from Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, we are all here to come and witness what happened actually on the 27th night. And it is such a horrible and a biggest stampede which has happened, which has never happened in the history of politics, I would say that. Because normally political rallies are done in a very proper way and proper security is given and then normal stages are put and then the artist or whoever goes there, the leader, they talk there and then people are sitting in a comfortable place. That the administration should have taken care of that, which they failed to do it. That's what I feel.
All right, while looking at investigations deepening, the police in Tamil Nadu have arrested TVK's West District Secretary and Karur's coordinator. Both of them have been arrested who are affiliated with the TVK. But of course, what really caught attention was one TVK worker who committed suicide today. In fact, TVK administrator from Vilupuram district, Ayyappan, he hung himself writing a letter blaming this entirely on DMK and particularly Minister Senthil Balaji, saying that Senthil Balaji conspired the stampede, that he is behind this stampede entirely. He's written a letter and has killed himself. Investigations now continue. The state demands answers on how such a devastating loss of life could really occur. People of Tamil Nadu right now in absolute grief and pain and want accountability. Right now, we're looking at investigation into singer Zubeen Garg's tragic death in Assam continues amid grief and anger. Assam Chief Minister Hemanta Biswa Sarma has confirmed that the Ministry of Home Affairs has invoked the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty to secure Singapore's cooperation in Zubeen Garg's death. A 10-member SIT team led by Special DGP MP Gupta has been formed. In fact, Shyamkanu Mahanta will be taken into custody in 2 days. And Shyamkanu Mahanta is the man who was organizing that event in Malaysia. We hear, has also been absconding. And along with that, the manager, Siddhant Sharma, also no sight of him. He's also absconding. SIT, we believe, at this point is closing in on Siddharth. Arrests will be made as soon as possible is what we hear from sources. Initial reports suggested a scuba mishap, but Zubeen's wife, Garima Saikia Garg, has clarified that Zubeen, who had epilepsy, suffered a seizure while swimming at the Lazarus Island. That it could have been a seizure, and he's had seizures multiple times in the past. He wore a life jacket during his first swim on that unfaithful day, but collapsed during the second and was declared dead at the Singapore General Hospital at 2:30 p.m. Singapore authorities listed drowning as the cause, but Assam demanded a second post-mortem. Garima alleged that manager Siddharth Sharma ignored Zubeen's triggers and that the family now seeks a full inquiry. That his manager very well knew that he had a seizure problem, and yet how could the manager allow him to get into the water? And, Garima also says that he was going to be on a yacht. Zubeen never told me anything about it, and she had spoken to him just the previous day or the same morning, but yet Zubeen did not tell him about the yacht party. And she says maybe Zubeen did not know and it was a surprise, so it's all incumbent on the manager to have ensured that Zubeen was safe. And now the man is absconding with Zubeen's phone in hand. Musician Shekhar Jyoti Goswami was also present on the yacht, has also been detained for questioning. Festival organizer Shyam Kanu Mahanta, currently abroad, has been blacklisted, but he denies any wrongdoings, but he's been blacklisted. Congress's Gaurav Gogoi has criticized this government, Hemanta Biswa Sarma particularly, saying the CM's role in this whole case is dubious, alleging protection for the accused due to political proximity. As grief and anger simmers now, Assam really looking for answers on Zubeen Garg's untimely death. Now, in Pakistan, at least 10 people have been killed and over 30 injured after a powerful explosion rocked Quetta in Pakistan's Balochistan province. The blast struck it struck near the Frontier Constabulary headquarters on Zarghon Road this afternoon, shattering windows and sending shockwaves across neighborhoods. CCTV video has emerged on social media showing the moment a powerful explosion hit the busy road. Muhammad Baloch, senior superintendent of police there and special operations Quetta, reported that the blast occurred as an explosive-laden vehicle took a turn from Model Town towards Hali Road near the FC headquarters. So it could be suicide bombing. Gunfire was reported shortly after the blast, heightening the panic there. Rescue teams and the public were cordoned off, and Quetta hospitals declared a message of emergency. Authorities have launched an investigation, but there's been no body so far who's claimed responsibility for this. But we know there have been militant attacks that have happened multiple times in the past in that area, but this time 10 people have been killed, and it seems like it was aimed at those frontier officials. Thanks very much for tuning in. Have a great night.
नई गाड़ी लेनी पड़ेगी।
हाँ, हमें भी।
शोरूम खोलो जल्दी।
संभल कर, अंदर महंगा इंश्योरेंस बेचने की पूरी कोशिश हो सकती है, जबरदस्ती।
कौन करेगा जबरदस्ती? फोड़ दूंगा इधर मैं। रिलैक्स कमलाकर, कोई जबरदस्ती नहीं है। नई गाड़ी के लिए हम एको कार इंश्योरेंस ही लेंगे।
फेयर प्राइस, कम प्रीमियम।
बात खत्म।
बात खत्म।
सर, बात खत्म। अरे सर, बात खत्म। मेरे साथ। अरे सर।
कार का एक्शन हीरो एको।
You can take a left, you can take a right. Adam is salsa or a little jive. If you really feel it, say it on price. It's the vibe, it's the vibe, it's the vibe.
Boots on the ground to bots up there in the space. India's armed forces. Then you've got nuclear boosts. Is this finally going to address our problem in Ladakh, let's say, against China? As we break it down exclusively on News9. Let's reconstruct the horror. It slams into a divider and collides with the couple's bike. When justice matters, influence can be dead. We're turning the spotlight on a silent killer. If you're not scared right now, comfort today could mean catastrophe tomorrow. But Bengaluru is not alone in this plight. A top CEO has ripped into the city's mess, and if you buy a majestic car, you will end up feeling the pothole. Is this really democracy? Is this dysfunction? Nepal has seen 13 prime ministers in 15 years, more than 25 governments in 3 decades, and a generation that now feels democracy has delivered only corruption and chaos.
What is to the nines? In literal terms, it's perfection. But to us, it's not just a phrase, it's an attitude. One that starts at your desk and sends a statement to the world. To the Nines is about taking charge. It's a way of life where every seam, every fold, is crafted with excellence. It's timeless elegance and uncompromising quality made for the corner office. It's the ideas that inspire redefining order and elevating the tabletop. To the Nines, for the leaders of today and the visionaries of tomorrow.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
The headlines: US President Donald Trump issues a 3 to 4 day ultimatum for Hamas to accept Gaza peace deal, warns of a very sad end if the plan is not accepted.